The creatures of Terraria fled from her screams. Her anguish was so overwhelming that the skies burned with her rage, oceans boiling with her pain. Far away though, he watched, seeing a great potential in this raw, untamed power. The great jungle tyrant would beckon her, and she would come. He would bring her so much life and strength that the scared girl she once was would be lost, and all that would be left was Calamity to burn across the world. Gods had begun. Humanity had all players deep and challenging, with different is less likely to get me horribly High in the mountains there lived mages of great and terrible magic, capable of challenging the very gods that watched over Terraria. They had learnt the secrets of emotional control long ago, and had mastered the ability to purge their negative feelings, so that the dark power they wielded did not overtake their minds. One day a child was born unto them, a baby girl, and with great dedication they passed these abilities on to her and her two brothers. All was not well though, for the mages regularly fought with a rival faction, their battles becoming intense and violent. Then one morning the girl was awoken by the sounds of turmoil. There had been a vicious clash overnight, and a mob had swept through the area, slaughtering and stringing up their victims on makeshift crucifixes, including the girl's own family. Upon laying eyes on the gruesome sight, she was beset with an unspeakable grief, crying out at what had happened, but soon the young girl's pain was overtaken by a rage like she had never experienced, and the darkness her parents had taught her so diligently to purge awoke within her. Feeling no fear, she tracked down the ones who had done this, burning them alive with hellfire, fueled by her shattered heart. All those who survived, blistered and charred, their skin melting from their bones, she teleported to the underworld so they may continue to burn for an eternity. Returning to the mountainside cave she had always known as home, her grief returned upon seeing her family again, and she dropped to her knees, sobbing. Soon she came to realize what she had done to those marauders. She felt no shame in it, but became aware of the power she had displayed. If she could take life so easily, then why couldn't she just give it? Taking the corpses of her family into her cave, she studied the ways of necromancy, attempting to bring back her parents. The magic took a great toll, however, and their bodies were deformed beyond recognition. With a heavy heart she moved on to her brothers, but this time had much more success, managing to reanimate them. They were different though, not as she had known them. As she tried to uncover what the problem had been, she became aware of a voice speaking to her. It was hypnotizing, almost calling to her. Without a second thought, she abandoned her work and her brothers, and followed the voice that led her to the jungle, promising safety and refuge. Even after everything she had been through, she believed the voice, but knew not why. It led her deep below the forest floor to a great temple door, and beyond it was the one who had spoken to her, Yarem, the great jungle ruler. He had felt the chaotic power she had unleashed when dealing with the marauders, and wished to recruit her to his army. She firmly declined, but Yarem, calm and collected in his demeanour, offered her hospitality nonetheless, speaking to her of various things in this world, but most importantly, what she believed truly mattered. He would repeat these talks with her frequently, and before she knew it, days had turned into weeks, and she was now almost always at his side. At times she thought herself some lapdog, but then he would speak again, and never had she heard such persuasiveness in a voice. Then came the day when she would prove herself to him. Amadeus, ruler of the ocean and once associate of Yarem, would meet with the Jungle King about a ritual he wished to conduct. But for whatever reason, Amadeus refused to assist. Rather than growing angry, Yarem simply asked a favour of the young woman by his side. This simple request was that she incinerate his oceans, turning them into deserts. Compelled after all their talks, she agreed, and unleashed hellfire across the living waters. Even though she enjoyed the raw strength that coursed through her, deep down she felt shame, knowing that she was becoming something no better than the animals who killed her parents. In the coming weeks she would wrestle with her conscience, argue with herself about what was right and what had to be done. In time she began to break Yarem's conditioning and found herself distrusting him. Confronting him, she questioned his ways and his logic, trying to convince him that what he was doing was wrong. For the first time she saw him become enraged, and banished her from his throne room for questioning him. This only confirmed her suspicions that he was a tyrant, killing and conquering indiscriminately. concocting a plan she would unleash the Great Temple Guardian, forcing Yarim and his men to fight the Golem while she stole details of his greatest enemies. By the time the Golem was defeated, she was gone, having set off to find the valiant warriors Braylor and Status. But even so far away, she was not free from him, and Yarim cursed her mind, causing her to gradually go insane. In time, her new colleagues would be killed by the jungle tyrant, and she would have no choice but to return to him. In exchange for her undying servitude, Yarim agreed to remove her curse, and from that day she would become to be known as Calamity, Sword of Yarim. She would be sent on many more missions, including one to obliterate the civilization at the heart of the planet. She would also be defeated on occasions, each time her magic reconstituting her, even stronger than before. In time, she would call upon her resurrected brothers to aid her, dubbing them Catastrophe and Cataclysm, and they would use so much of the dark magic that their bodies would be twisted into foul abominations of brimstone and fire. Even after all of this though, and in her supreme form, Calamity laments her fate, warning even those she battles of her master and wishes only to be freed by death, but knows even this has no escape, for she will always return. Perhaps one of these times, after all of her deaths, she will change her mind about her master, and find that she is indeed much stronger than the one who had enslaved her for so long. Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, feel free to leave a like and subscribe so you'll be the first to know about my future videos. And don't forget, I've got a Patreon and merch store. I think that's about it, so have a great day and I'll see you later.